Folks, good evening and welcome to this Sunday night live stream. I hope you're all very well. I hope you can hear me okay. Goodness me, I look very pink tonight. I think we might need another light on that. How are you all? All right? Can you hear me okay? Can you just let me know in the comments if you can hear me? We've got Terry Tickler in, Hurricane Moon, Gavin James, Dorothy Collins, James Mears. Awesome. Good to see you guys. I don't think Pete Thorne's finished yet. Let me just add a bit of light. Okay, that's a little bit better. Yep, great. Thanks a lot, Duff. Good to see you, brother. Awesome. Let's get this all sorted out. What on earth are we playing at tonight? Hey, Bam Mozzie, good to see you. Why is that so dark? That's a bit better. I still look very pink, don't I? Anyway, never mind. Hey, Alan Walker, how you doing? I am staying safe and well, and I hope you guys are as well. Thanks, Bam. Awesome. So, yeah, Pete Thorne is still going. Oh, dear. Even if I go at 10 o'clock, I don't seem to be able to avoid running into his super long live streams. Oh, well, I'm here. What's everyone imbibing? Mark Holt wants to know. Well, I'm just on the water, buddy. Hey, partner, good to see you. And Brian Simmers in, great to see you as well. And we've got Claret Crooner, good evening. We've got Vask Jazz. Hey, how you doing? Oh wow, how about that, Dorothy? I don't know why, but every time I get on your show it's storming in Louisiana. Hello, how are you doing? And it's my birthday and I bought me a new guitar. Well, very many happy returns to you, Dorothy. That's so cool. What guitar did you buy? He's doing a part 2 now. Oh my word. Oh, I'm not even going to go there. It is what it is, guys. Boondoogle said bought a £2,500 guitar last year, still struggling to justify it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what we're here to talk about tonight, folks. We're going to chat about the difference between budget and high-end gear and guitars. And oh, it's nice to see that some of you are on the red wine while I'm on the water. Pete Hickson, it's only 6:30 over there, so he's on the coffee. Good one. Graham Campbell, good evening, sir. Good to see you. Tea, a bit early for myself. Excellent. Grumpy Mike, hey man, good to see you. Really good to see you. You're finishing off the Merlot. Very nice. Everybody wishing Dorothy a happy birthday as well there. Cheap beer and chicken chili. Mike, I've sent you an email with some specs and pics of my new Harley Benton Fusion Pro guitar. Have you indeed? Let me have a quick squiz at that. Where are we? Excuse me checking my email while I'm online. Okay, let's have a squiz. Oh, you have. Awesome. Ah, and also Brian's written back to me as well. I didn't see that 5 hours ago. Sorry about that. Brian, I will read that in due course. Let me mark it as unread. And Jack the Rabbit's replied to me as well. Let's grab these pictures of your Harley Benton and pop them on my desktop so that I can show everybody. That'd be wicked. Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you very much, Hurricane Moon. I hope you're well as well, my friend. Did I get all of those then? I think we may have missed that one. So let's pop them there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, I think I got the same one twice there. Sorry about that. Oh, well, those three will give us a good idea of what we're looking at. I'll just move them around a bit. This is fun, driving this little machine while we're at it. Okay, so if any of you want to send me any questions or requests outside of the stream, then there's the email address, because I saw somebody looking for it earlier. So there it is, folks. It's still ChinaGuitarSkeptic@gmail.com. There we go. Okay, so I've got that sorted now. And what do we... Well, basically tonight, the reason I haven't replied, and I hope you don't feel me rude, but I haven't replied to any of the comments on Friday's video where I tried out that Sir Telecaster at TGU. And I just wanted to talk about it tonight because I think it's really... quite a key question. So I am just going to leave it a little while longer, and then we'll go over to the comments section of that video, and we'll look through them and we'll talk through them, and you guys can tell me in the comments section here what you think. Adam D, good to see you, brother. And Salu BV Ninja. I am really thirsty tonight. That is so strange. So yeah, here's the question. Does the reality of the manufacturing as to labour and the environment enter into discussion? And hi Dogpa, good to see you. And Joe McNamee 66. Oh, thank you, man. That's really sweet of you. I'm glad you enjoy it, even if you're a keyboard player. That's very welcome here, my friend. Grab a guitar and jam, Gillam says. Bamozzi says, you may get better, harder wearing frets, some lifetime warranty on fit and finish and parts, as well as better wiring and pots, and all that lasts longer. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of really quite subjective, but a lot of really practical reasons as far as I'm concerned. And Lefty Guitarist has jumped from Pete Thorne's stream to this one, unless he's finally finished, has he? Probably not, because I can't see Ben, and I know that Ben does the moderating for him over there, so that's probably what it is. Mark Holt's looking for a solid, strong telly body and neck, inexpensive but sturdy. Have a few pieces of hardware he'd like to start tinkering on. Awesome. Ben Heaver, what up from Atlanta? Good to see you, brother. That's where my buddy Rick Beato lives as well, Atlanta, Georgia. The hub of the travel in the United States when flights are all open. Although I hear actually that a lot of your flights still are flying around in the States, which is unusual. There you go. Who buys cheap gear? I think everybody does. Yeah, Jason Wade does. Excellent. Are you still doing Milton guitars? No, actually, I've still got all 6 of the prototypes, but I haven't carried on with making them because the whole point is that I found the likes of Glary and Harley Benton and found them to be just what I was trying to make the Milton guitars be. So as I've said many times, I may well resurrect it in some form, but it's likely to be very different. So watch this space. Hello, James Severin. Hey, brother, good to see you. Jack the Rabbit, I wanted to let you know... Oh, is Jack the Rabbit in? Have I missed him? I wanted to let you know that I appreciate you telling me where that tremolo screw was on my Harley Benton, thank you. I didn't see Jack the Rabbit here yet, but is he in? Be lovely if he is. He sent me an amazing track this week that we're going to work on together, which is going to be great fun. Was the busiest airport, right? Yeah. Pete Hickson buys cheap gear as long as the woods are as good. Anything else is fixable, right? Okay, quite like that sentiment. Mark Holt, always checking Craigslist, Reverb and Guitar Centre for good used deals. An ESP you bought, Dorothy. Wow, cool. The Rabbit is in the building. How do we know that? I haven't seen a comment from Jack the Rabbit yet, but the Rabbit may well be in the building. He may well be in the burrow. Brad Miller, hey man, great to see you. Oh, this is awesome. Loads of people in. Mikey Newman, excellent. Hugh Caldwell, Music Therapy Les, what's up, dude? Good to see you. All the team are in. This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. BV Ninja. No, not here yet, Jack the Rabbit. I didn't think he was. He would always say hello. Dale Palmer loves to find gear at bargain prices and managed to keep his purchases under $1,000 US. I thought I said 10,000 US. Yeah, happy birthday, New Guitar Day, Dot. Sup, everybody! Wow, the chat is flying tonight. Alan Walker built an Esquire out of a Glary, upgraded the pickups and rewire, great guitar. Dale Palmer, hey CGS, and all the good people in the chat. Hey, oh, bless you, Terry. That's very sweet of you. Thank you very much, sir. A tip for the tip jar is always appreciated, my friend. Thank you very much for that indeed. Let me say thank you. There we go. Awesome. How is lockdown? My nan has to stay indoors in England. Ben, yeah, my folks are over 70, so they are self-isolating as well, and I've been quite strict with them about it. We've been self-isolating for 4 weeks. When I say self-isolating, that sounds wrong. We've been in lockdown. We've been observing social distancing. None of us have been in isolation because we're not poorly yet, thank goodness. So that's good news. Dave Barlow, yeah, he's in. My main SG copy cost me 30 quid. Wow, blimey. That is awesome, man. Absolutely awesome. The chat is flying. Sorry, I'm missing so much. If you've got questions specifically for me, either put at CGS or put a couple of question marks at the front end, and I will try and spot them. Bent Tom, good to see you. Climber 7565, great to see you as well. Anybody I haven't shouted out? Carlson Olsen learning lead guitar, he's in. Yeah, cool, excellent. The big G's in. Gary, I think I saw you earlier. Did I say hello? We've also got Sasha Snyder, who's talking to Dave, telling him about her vintage VS6. Awesome. Rich Johnson, I think I'm going to adjust my budget. Even 250 quid professional setup is just meh at best. I paid 400 for your acoustic and another 60 for a setup. It's damn near perfect. Brilliant. Bam Mozzie's not going to tell us what his cheapest one was. Brad Miller, CGS, thoughts on the Harley Benton kit? Well, I can't wait to try one of those out. And we've been talking about doing the telly, haven't we? So, yeah, absolutely. What's the line for cheap stroke expensive? Good point. Ah, bless you, sir. Thank you very much, Grumpy Mike. Let me go and... A little tip for the quarantine tip jar. Bless you, sir. Thank you very much indeed. As I say, never courted, but always very much appreciated. Thank you very much for that, Grumpy Mike. You're too kind. James Mears, CGS. Hey, Jack the Rabbit is in. Yeah. James Mears says, CGS, I've played a Fender Player series on a Mim Strat, waiting for one to be delivered this week. Lefty guitarist, his first guitar was a Harley. Awesome. Hey. And BB Ninja saying, Mike, go into your settings and engage slow-mo at 150 seconds. Sounds a lot, but what we use on that pedal show. And then chat travels so you can read it easier. Oh, right, okay. So if I go into settings here. No, where's my settings? Oh, my word. The chat is flying. I'm not sure how to do that, buddy, but thanks for the tip there. I do appreciate it, and I will try and look that out. 150, I don't know what that is, but probably not the best time to try and do it while I'm on the stream. Unless it's on. Let's have a look. General. Camera, audio, green screen, guests. Nope. Okay. I can't see that setting. Not to worry, guys. Hurricane Moon says, what was your first starter guitar? Mine was an Encore Strat in white black. My first guitar was the Vox that is like a 335. But my first actual guitar that was bought for me, brand new, was an Aria Pro 2 RS Wildcat, which was humbucker, single humbucker, I think. Yeah, it was amazing. All in black. It's all in black. Van Mozzie, it means people have to wait between, oh, wait 150 seconds between posts. I'm going to try and keep up with you guys if I can. It has never got to the point where I haven't been able to. If I miss anything, please repost it. It's my apologies. I don't honestly try to not miss anything, but it runs so fast. And once we get into the comments section from that video, I'm really keen to know your real thoughts. First question to you all. In fact, we'll put it out there. Mike, where is it where you set your live? Oh, Mike, it is where you set your live events. That's in YouTube. Yeah, I'm using StreamYard, so I'm not actually in the YouTube side of things at the moment, brother. So, first question for you. Carlson Olsen Learning Lead Guitar. My most expensive guitar is the Phil XG from Framus, which should have been 12 grand. I didn't pay that for it. Yes, thank you, Taron Val. Yeah, it was a nice guitar, and I still got it. So, yeah, first question. Everybody put in the comments section, where do you think the price range from budget to mid-range goes? And then later on we'll do, or next up we will go where it turns from budget into what you would consider expensive. So for the time being, where do you think, what sort of level of price, and let's go in US dollars so that we're using an international standard. So where would you consider budget up to? And then I'll tell you what I think. So 12 grand. Oh, that's Mikey Newman, yeah, responding to my 12 grand. Right, okay, Hurricane Moon thinks between 2 and 500. So what we're going to say, the cut-off for budget is at 500 or 2? 600 euros, that is. Let's keep it in dollars. Budget up to 500, 300, 500, 500, 500, 700, music therapy lads, 600. Budget up to 1,200 US dollars, 800, 300 to 500 is budget, mid-range 5 to 1,000. Jason Wade. Bent Tom says 600. I'd say budget ends at 499. That's Stuart 5150. Lefty guitarist says 400. 2 to 500. Climber 7565. 1,200. Wow. Ben Heaver thinks 250, mid to 900. Okay, yeah, I think we're all... One of 31 says 50 quid. And Hugh Caldwell says £2.50. Jack the Rabbit's pretty much there with everybody else on 500. So... most people, and I think this kind of shows it, there is a really wide range. I mean, I know that the the £22.50 and the £50 were a bit of a gag, but most people would say anything from about 150, I would say, up to 500 would be the maximum that they might pay for a budget price guitar. So Bam Mozzie's saying 0 to 750 for budget. 750 to 2.5 for mid, and over 2.5 is high end. That's a pretty good summation there, mate. Dogper 4,000 or more is only custom made. Under 700 is budget. No good guitars good guitars go from between 800 and 2,000 US dollars. Nothing of value between 2,000 and 4,000. Wow. Dorothy, her first guitar was a Morris Telecaster replica with twin humbuckers. Right, so I think we've kind of hit the mark there, haven't we? I would suggest that for my personal experience, because I've played so many of the Harley Bentons and I've played so many of the Glaries. Now the Glaries range from 60 quid or 60 to 80 US dollars. And in fact, this guitar, which I play all the time, is in at 65 US dollars. Sorry, 68 US dollars. And that I would consider to be the very low end of budget, really low end of budget. Would you agree? However, going to the other end of budget, I would still considering what appointments this has got, the Fusion 2 from Harley Benton, I would still consider that to be budget at €499. So what for you guys makes the big difference between a budget range and a mid-range guitar? What are the attributes that you would look for to say, okay, it's worth more? Let's go $500. What makes a guitar worth more? Yeah, the fake Pete Thorne, you're right. The Fusion 2 is totally. And I showed that as well on Friday's video. Quentin, yeah, water. A water break because Quentin's here. Good to see you, brother. Fretwork, yeah, good. I agree with you. Gary Davlin, that is, very first thing. The nut and tuners. Okay, what specifically about the nut and tuners? I personally think that the more solid, higher end tuners, obviously, that keep a stable tuning, and a lot of people think a bone nut. That's got a bone nut on it, which is crazy. Fretwork, better pickups and hardware, quality electronics. All about spec, reliability. Gavin, you're the first person that said the word that I've got on my little crib sheet. One of the things for me, and this is just across the board, that really shows the difference between a real budget guitar, which can move and can twist and change and need to be set up more often, might need to be tuned more often, and what I would call an entry-level player's guitar at, I would say, somewhere over $500. Absolutely, it's reliability. And I think all the things that everybody is saying as well, the pickups, the electronics, branded pickups and electronics, there you go. Tuners, nut, bridge, electrical work, absolutely. All those quality parts that we usually chuck away on the cheap guitars to upgrade them, because it actually makes it. That's another really good one. YouTube 13, dried wood, that makes a difference, especially if you speak to PRS. He certainly thinks that the main constituent of a really good sound, solid, reliable guitar is the wood. Absolutely. Anything other than a plastic nut. Not enough pencils in the world to make it. Rich Johnson, I like your style, man. Absolutely. For me, it's mostly about QC, says Sasha Snyder. Yeah, absolutely. Alan Walker saying cheap tuners, nut and wiring obviously show a budget guitar. Absolutely. That's a really good point as well, lefty guitarist. Brands that hold their value. Generally because of the pedigree and because of the quality standards that they've got. So, but definitely, for me, it's reliability. It's that knowing that you can put a new set of strings on, you can stretch the strings out a bit, you tune it up, do a quick setup, and that guitar is going to stay in tune and it's going to sound good for the majority of the life of the set of strings. And you're not going to have to do too much work on it. So, yeah, totally. Taron Val says material in general, after time you discover the quality. Yeah, and here let's be absolutely clear here. We're talking at the moment about electric guitars, because obviously one of the big differences is between electric and acoustic guitars. And acoustic guitars, well, they just age and they mellow, and if they hold up, which some of the cheaper ones really do not, then it makes a big difference. That wood ages and it settles. Absolutely. My husband says anything under $500 is a plus. Well, I hope he's talking guitars there, Dorothy. Oh, okay. Breed love. Rich Johnson says, though, when I was in the market for a first acoustic, one that talked the loudest to me was a Breed love, $300. There you go. And you can get some really great instruments under $500 with that reliability. Alan, love it. If it was reliability, Gibson would be a budget guitar. Oh dear. Sasha Snyder, not only QC, consistency. When you get two guitars the same model, you'll get mostly the same guitar at the starting the mid-range. With budget, it's a lottery. Very, very good. And again, I think that comes back to my point about reliability. Absolutely. I think the difference between budget and mid-range is definitely reliability. They're all the other things I totally agree, absolutely. Everything from fretwork and the feel of the neck, the finishing, the fit, the electronics, the hardware, all of that good stuff, absolutely all of that matters, but all of that being reliable, being solid and sound, and you can able to rely on it. So that's for me. The reason cheap guitars are heavy is they buy cheap parts of the trees, more water retention. That's BV Ninja. Bam Mozzie, if you cure wood properly, the resin crystallizes and rings better. There you go. Quentin said his MIM strap was $180, but may have been a little warm, or just the kid needed cash for the meth. Hooky, you're buying it off the back of a truck, are you, Quentin? Also, guitars that retain value are normally small amount batches like Gibson USA and Fender USA versus, say, imported range where each model has 10 times as many batches. Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the reliability and quality control that comes in at that mid-range accounts for a fair bit of the cost, because there is only a finite amount really that you can spend on pickups, on hardware, and all of the other attributes, you know, the nut, the fretwork and all of that, where the money goes. And this is something that I've been finding a great deal from working with Lewis at LT Custom Guitars, seeing the amount of time that goes into a hand-built custom real top-end guitar. It's outstanding. It's incredible to see how much goes into it. Dorothy Collins, that's what I like about the ESP. It's got a graphite nut. Excellent. Hey, Dennis Raddle. Good to see you. I'm watching for a different lefty bass, not just the PJ style. Okay. Retaining value is a ridiculous marker. Value can be artificially inflated by making limited numbers or having the right brand name. Brand snobbery is the biggest enemy to guitar players as far as I'm concerned. Couldn't agree with you more, Bam. Shop the island of misfit instruments. Thanks, Jason. Hey, Ben Coombs is in. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us. You've just made tea. Oh, okay. I thought you'd be moderating for PT, but he's obviously stopped now, has he? I don't know. We're here. We're having fun. That's the main thing. Rich Johnson says, more important than the fretwork, look at the shape of the neck. I've seen all the popular brands with bad necks hanging up in a store, i.e. slight twists or wavy fretboards. That can happen, especially if a guitar is not stored correctly. And most guitar stores should know this. You know, they'll have humidifiers in there. They'll have temperature and climate control. And also, generally, if they're hung, it can be a problem, especially if you've got an offset or an unbalanced heavy guitar body. That can have an effect, and that's the only time ever. And I was telling this to Ian Wood a couple of weeks back. The only time I ever look down a guitar and look at the neck is nothing to do with the action or the relief. I would never look for that. I'm only looking to see if it's got a twist or a buckle in the neck. It's the only reason to look down the neck of a guitar. Everything else you can work out by touch and feel whether or not the intonation is, the action and relief is right. So, Mike, read my comments, scroll up. Adam D, what did you put? My $500 Ibanez, after a tusk nut and hip shot bridge and being set up by a true luthier, makes it sound seriously the best guitar I ever played. Like it, Adam. Yeah, and a proper setup by somebody that knows what they're doing can make the difference between a cheaper guitar sounding like a mid-range guitar and a mid-range guitar sounding like a cheaper guitar. Ian, top man. He's just arrived, just as I was talking about him. Love it. So yeah, absolutely. I think you do get that problem. And if you can set up a guitar yourself, and I've done numerous videos showing you guys, if you don't know how to do it, check out one of my videos on doing a full setup on a guitar. And remember the Ron Thorne, the chief custom shop manager for Fender, always uses the acronym of TRAIN, which is tune the guitar. Then you look at the rod and relief, so adjusting the rod to do the relief. Then you set the action, then you set the intonation, then you noodle around on it somewhat and check out how it feels, and then go back to the start, tune it, do it all again, get it fine-tuned. As Ian will tell you, you sometimes have to go back and train and train and train through that guitar until you just make minor adjustments. It's very easy to go too far the other way and get a little bit of buzz, but a properly set up guitar with the action that suits you, and that's the thing as well, that's very subjective. I particularly like an action between 1 and 2 mil, maybe not so high as 2 mil and not so low as 1, so about 1.5 mil. I like that same action on all of my guitars, and I tend to set up a guitar every single time I change strings. Do you guys do that? Do you do your action, and do you check your intonation and the relief every time you change strings? Particularly if you change the gauge. Adam D says, CGS, my Luthier friend found that factory installed the bridge technically in the wrong spot. Wow. Wow. Quentin's asking what's in the rack over my left shoulder. Well, I'll just quickly go down it. That's Milton MT1 Prototype 3. It's Milton MT1 Prototype 2. Chibson Standard, Harley Benton HB SC550, sorry, Harley Benton SC450, the Harley Benton CST24 Deluxe in Tobacco Burst, the Harley Benton CST24 in Emerald, the Pete Thorne ripoff Harley Benton. There's the Dan Electro 12 string. It's the X12. Then I've got a fake PRS custom 24 private stock. Then I've got the Harley Benton SG. Then I've got the PRS SE Torero, and then finally the Glary Strat. There you go. Whew. Your other left. Get out of it. Get out of it. That's my right shoulder. I know. There's nothing over my left shoulder, you cheeky monkey. Well, actually, there is. This, as usual, is still here because I love playing this, as you know. Love it. Gary says, I check everything but seldom need to readjust. Well, that's good. Check. And if you're not having to readjust stuff, that tends to show that you've got a... it's 2 racks actually, James. There's one of 7 or 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, and there's one of 6, 2 racks there. Does the fake private stock have a written serial number? I'll show you. Yep, unfortunately it does. This was the second that I ever bought, and it's, I have to say, I don't mind the inlay on the headstock other than the fact that it's counterfeit, and I don't like that. But yeah, it looks it looks what it is really, but this one was probably the best playing out of the box. So yeah, I just want to go back because there was a comment that I was responding to. Yes, Gary Tollander was saying that he checks his... oh man. Okay, Dogpa. Hi to Emmett, Quentin. Yeah, Gary was saying that he very... Phil Reed Smythe. He very rarely needs to adjust anything. Now that for me all comes down to that big word again, that reliability word, which you only get, I think you can only guarantee at a certain price point. Now, that's a real big generalization, and I happen to know, for example, that a lot of the Harley Bentons, I'm very impressed with how they hold up, but I still end up doing a little bit of adjustment every time I change the strings. The dog part I did, but he unfriended you too. Oh, love it. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking. Always just check. It's almost as part of putting a new set of strings on as stretching them out and tuning them up a couple of times and then giving it a damn good thrashing. Once you've done that and you kind of got the tuning stability there, just check the relief. Checking relief is really easy, guys. You don't need any tools, you don't need any capo. All you need is 2 fingers. And what you do is you fret out at the first and last fret, like that, and just see if it rings. Because if it can ring when you're fretting out the first and last fret, that has got to mean that it's got that very slight bit of relief in it. And what I tend to do for setting the relief of my guitars is I adjust the truss rod until I just get a buzz, and then just adjust it back a little bit further. Let it settle for a while, play it for a bit, retune it for a bit, and then you will find that you will get just the minimum relief that you need in the neck. And if you've got the minimum relief that you need, that also means that you're likely to be able to get the action to where you want it. Obviously, the lower the action, the more of a bow with a lower action, the more chance of it fretting out at those top frets. So if you keep that relief really slight, you can get the action that you want. Does anybody know if 150 watt high gain Ibanez? Brian would sound good on a 1960J something, 4x12 cabinet. Somebody asking, that's Dorothy saying, sorry, it's gone now. Sorry. If it was to me, ask again, sorry. Rich Johnson was surprised by his $150 Epiphone Les Paul. It was professionally set up. The intonation has been spot on for almost a year. Relief, I tweak because I leave the guitar out and Chicago winters are brutal. Right, okay. When you say you leave it out, I'm guessing you don't mean outside. You mean out of its case. And actually, how do people feel about that? Because a lot of people put guitars back in cases. What do you think that does to it? So in just a moment, we're going to jump over into my comments section and we're going to chat about the comments that are over there, because I haven't replied to any of the comments on the Sir versus budget from Friday. Beaver Ninja said, CGS, you should always check the intonation as seen by the numerous YouTube videos that are constantly out of tune. I very rarely have to change relief. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I check it all. And it still doesn't stop me being out of tune, mind you. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Ian Wood says, never paid enough to get a guitar supplied with a case, so not an issue you have. Love it. Jason Wade says it makes them lonely. Aww. Band intonation really bothers Gary Davlin. It bothers everybody, that's for sure. Absolutely. Okay. George Hen said, Mr. CGS, what's your real first name? I know it and feel like a complete moron for the brain fart. Right, well, everybody calls me Mike. Bam Mozzie, mine stays in its case when it's not in use, mostly because of space limitations, small place, but it also offers a level of protection and stability too. Yeah, do you leave it standing up or laying down? That's a question I often ask. James Mears keeps his in gig bags, less dusting and stops accidental damage. Again, James, do you lay them down or do you stand them up in their gig bags? Gavin James, here's a question for you. If you saved up the money on all your guitars as of now, I bet you could buy some smoking hot axes. Yeah, I bet I could. Absolutely. I love the guitars I've got, though. I've never sold, well, I've sold one. But I've given a few away, but they're like children, aren't they? You get to keep them and it's hard to let them go. Hi from Ireland. Hey, Sean Darcy. Good to see you, mate. Ben Coombs, that might be your next band name. Bad intonation. Like it. Love it. That's cool. Right. What I'm going to do, there's 80 of you in, so I'm going to jump over and I'm going to show you the comments section. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, that's the one I wanted. Okay. So the very first comment out on this video 2 days ago was Jack the Rabbit. I am 1 minute in and already love this video. Bless you, mate. I've never played the guitar that costs more than $1,500 and don't own any that costs over $1,250 brand new. So I'm totally unqualified to give my opinion. I disagree because I think that by that sort of range, you're into the middle of the mid-range, as we said earlier. I love Corp, but everybody already knows that. If I were to guess, pride in the name and craftsmanship and attention to detail on the fit and finish would be my answers. I would hope a $2,000 plus guitar would be flawlessly set up and the fretwork and hardware would be second to none. I would have extremely high expectations from an electric guitar costing over $1,500 sorry. Generally, when I pick up an instrument, my internal dialogue goes something like this. Can I express myself freely with this instrument? Does it inspire me to play and write? If I could say yes to those questions, then it's a fine instrument for me. This one will get interesting. Can't wait to see what other people have to say. Really engaging video, Mike. Well, thanks for starters, Jack the Rabbit. Love that comment. Really, really cool. And I think you made a really, really good point in there, because one of the things that I always say to people is, unless you can go and play the guitar, this is one of the biggest problems with mail order guitars, is that you don't get the chance to go and play them and try them out before you buy. And one of the most important things is, how does it feel? Does it inspire you? Does it make you want to pick it up and play it? Because if you've got a guitar that does that and it makes you want to pick it up and play it, you're going to play it all the time. And that is a really, really good point. So well done for that. Thanks, Jack the Rabbit. So the next comment up is quite a big one, because Adam D made what everybody thought was a great comment. The difference to me is feel and playability. Same as Jack the Rabbit. The use of higher grade finishes, the attention to detail, and the ability to have certain features that don't need to be addressed for a wider range of buyers and players. An example is the neck carve. On a budget and cheaper guitars, the necks are too similar, and you know how I feel about entombing guitars in ridiculous amounts of poly, and that's agreed with by Hugh Caldwell. And also Superconductor and Perhelion says, yes, true. No doubt, however, if you have some skills and patience, you can modify an inexpensive guitar to play and sound and look as good as a guitar costing 5 times as much in the process, saving many hundreds of dollars. If you don't want or can't do that, then grab the high price version and play. You've got 7 Gibson, 4 Fenders. Wow. Guitars are simply a tool for making noise. They're usually a clever combination of wood, metal and plastic. They're not built rocket scientists. Make your choice and play it. Yeah, I agree to a degree, and I think that's a really sensible answer. But what we got here is, again, this feel and playability. High grade of finishes, I agree. Attention to detail. And it's that detail that brings that reliability. So, yeah, thank you for that, Adam. A lot of people agreeing with you there. Ben Coombs, I only hang my guitars by their strap buttons. Did I miss how everybody stores their guitars? I keep all of my guitars in the same room. There's the same temperature every day of the year. Very good. Yep. If you lay 2 guitars down together, well, in the case they no longer lonely. Mine are all stood up on end, pretty much like keeping them in a rack. Yes. And that's what I was going to say, Bam. It's a really good point, because if you lay a guitar down and it's got a neck brace rest in the case, very occasionally that guitar can settle against that pressure, and it can add relief into the neck that actually isn't there when you get it out. So it's good practice to try and stand them up. Beaver Ninja says, CGS, my studio are always regulated at the same temperature. Guitars either on racks if they're in cases. They're flat on the shelves. Those in gig bags are standing in racks. Okay, cool. You just got to be a little careful, in my opinion, and it is my opinion, that you don't end up adding relief into the neck that's not actually there. Bam Mozzie, never lie my guitars down flat. There we go. I tend not to. I've got a problem in my cupboard indoors. I'm a little bit like the BV Ninja indoors in that I've got shelving in the guitar cupboard, and the only way I can do it is to lay them flat. But I've got a little trick with that, which is that I get them out every now and then, and I swap them around in the rack so that they get to sit up for a while and settle, and they also come back into this environment, which is exactly at 15 degrees pretty much all the time. At the moment it's 16.9 because I've been talking and huffing and puffing in here. Anyway, let's get back to the comments. Tim Taylor says, hey, not from Idaho. But the difference seems psychological. Tell someone it's expensive and they will say best tone ever regardless of the real price. It's called confirmation bias, Pahelian says. And they're really good. They're really, really good points. A lot of times we are paying through the nose for the brand name. And yeah, I'm not sure that the brand name is worth anything in terms of the guitar if you pick it up and play it. BV Ninja, that's great to know, mate. And to be fair, I haven't had it happen very often. It happens more with budget guitars that aren't properly that don't use properly cured woods, and they can have a little bit of malleability left in the wood. So, but if I think most of yours are fairly high-end instruments, so you should be okay. Hugh Caldwell buries all his like Guitar Max. Yep, there you go. But I try to stand them up, and temperature matters. Temperature does matter. And definitely, as Bam Mozzie's just saying there as well, especially rapid temperature changes can affect it. No, I bet you don't, BV. I was pretty certain of that. He doesn't own any budget guitars. See, that's the thing. A lot of mine are budget guitars now. Mike, it's true when you're not live streaming, you only play naked. Is it true? Yeah, absolutely. Where's the hidden hand? I only ever play naked when I'm not streaming. Sasha Snyder says, I don't understand the resale price argument in any case. I buy guitars to play and I do to them what makes them play best. It's not a collector item. Okay, that's fair enough. But a lot of people will buy or spend more money on certain brands and certain types of guitar. Now, where was it the other day that I was looking at Tokai Love Rock guitars? The Tokai copy always goes really cheap second hand. They don't hold their value particularly well, and so you can tend to pick them up quite reasonably, and they're what I would consider a sort of a higher end of the budget into the lower end of the mid-range price guitars. CGS has a Mankini. Oh, bless you. Now that's something you wouldn't want to see, Gavin. I try not to let any of my guitars go too long without playing them. I usually keep 2 or 3 out of their case at any given time, but I keep them on rotation. Grumpy Mike, you're a man after my own heart, and that's exactly what I do. Ben Coombs has 1 rack for tilt-back headstocks and 1 for standard. Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a mix of both in my rack, but there's a good space between the racks. BV Ninja says, Mike, you just have to be careful with your strap height. Yeah, nice low strung strap for when I'm playing naked. I prefer a good budget over an expensive guitar because good chance the budget will be a better guitar, right? Guitar's a tool, not a conversation piece, never to be touched. Couldn't agree with you more, Adam D. So, yeah. Okay, next comment up was all lush. I play my Benton more than my custom shop 335. How about that? Okay, Graham Campbell says, currently have an 08 Mexican Strat which cost me 300 quid second hand, and a Tom Anderson Atom which cost my friend, the original owner, 4 grand. I'm buying it from him at a bargain price in installments. I usually play the Strat as it's really comfortable and well set up. The pickups aren't brilliant, but I'm in the process of changing them. The Anderson guitar plays great. It's great looking and sounds really good, but I would feel no hesitation in taking the Strat to a gig as my main guitar. I think the real difference is attention to detail and the finishing, as well as more articulate pickups. But at the end of the day, it's tools for the job. Acoustics, I think, are a different matter. Couldn't agree more. My Taylor is 18 years old, well plays in, and it sounds fantastic. It costs 1,200 new, but it's lasted me thousands of gigs. Yeah, absolutely. The big difference is between electrics and acoustics. I totally agree with that. But very good point there, that a £300 Mexican Strat with a good setup and nicely looked after can be as good as any other guitar, really. High end, low end, whatever. Ian, you've got to go to work, mate, and try not to think of that image of me in a mankini. Be safe, brother, and thanks for all you're doing, keeping the wheels going. Appreciate it, brother. Andy W says, I need a rack like Mike's. Any recommendations? You like my rack? Sorry, that was a very, very bad dad joke. Which rack? Are we talking about this one here? What I've got in that rack is very rarely used these days, but just so that you know what I've got over there, I've got the Marshall JMP1. I've got the Behringer Feedback Destroyer. I have got a TC Electronic Multi-Effects unit. I have got a DBX 256 compressor expander gate, which is great for voice and vocals, particularly voice-over work, which I do a bit of. And then the rest is all blanks. There's a blank with a Framers sticker on it. There's a blank with inputs and outputs that I could turn into a patch bay, but I haven't yet. And there's also a power supply at the bottom that I haven't wired in, because most of that doesn't get used now that I'm just using the Axe effects straight into the Focusrite and into the computer. So there we go. Godins are awesome for value, Terry Tickler says. Cool. 61.7 degrees, Barry. Is that what 15 degrees centigrade is? It's hot in here at the moment. This one down here, where I'm standing, is saying 18. Now, I set these at 15 degrees so that overnight the temperature in here never goes below 15 degrees centigrade, which I'm assuming is 61 degrees Fahrenheit. How many guitars you have this made in Indonesia? How many have I got that are made in Indonesia? Right, well, I know for a fact that three of the Harley Bentons there are made in Indonesia, and I think I've got one more. I've only been playing a couple of years. This is Where's the Hidden Hand, so I need low action. No, I don't concur with that, actually. Where's the Hidden Hand? Because yes, it can help you to fret out and find your chords and stuff to begin with, but you really need to strengthen your left hand. So having an action that feels right for you, and you won't really know until you play for longer. What I find is that people that start with a really, really low action always stay with a really low action. And that can be good if you're going to be a speed player or you're going to do a lot of legato work. But if you're sort of a rock player or a funky, jazzy type player, then it's quite good to build your fingers up and get that strength there. So I dare you to eat those chocolates, CGS. I remember when you got them. Funny enough, those Mercy chocolates that came with my Axe effects, you're absolutely right. I can tell you exactly when I got them because it was the week before I went to GitCon. So it was October 2018. But I have had a couple of them. We can get one out. Let's get a chocolate out. I feel like a chocolate now. Which one would you like? They're all in foreign languages. No idea what they are. What I do is I slide this plastic off so it doesn't look like I've opened them, and then I just steal one out of the end, like a very naughty schoolboy. Look at that. We'll have a chocolate. Oh, I've got a few spare stickers sitting under that. Hughes and Kettner. I haven't put that on anything yet. I think I better put that one on something. Famous World and a Framers sticker. If you'd like either of those two, I have to put the Hughes and Kettner on something, I think. But if you'd like either of those, oh, first two people to email me can have them. So there we go. Give it to you, George. You need to fatten up. I definitely don't need to fatten up. The highest action on my big E string is 5:30 seconds. See, now that is about 6 mil, I think. Can we vote on the chocolate? Of course you can. Very nice. You play slide, not a slide, Ed Williams. So your action, so standard tuning, so your action, it needs to be pretty medium. Absolutely. Definitely. In fact, ideally, a higher action for slide guitar. Oh, these are wicked chocolates. Mark, enjoy the time with your family, my friend. And it's been lovely to see you in. Be happy, be safe, and thanks for hanging out. Hope the chocolates are not Chinese knockoffs. China chocolate skeptic, love it. This chocolate is really nice. See, I'm so good. I'm a good boy, really. I think this is number 4 I've had out of this in a year. Regardless of price, properly cut nut for first fret action and no pinch strings make yeah, excellent. I agree. One of the things that you've got to look for, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have taken some chocolate, should I? There we go. Fried rat liver in chocolate coating from Wuhan. Isn't it bat? I thought it was bat. Very good point. Well made there. Chocolate gobbling stream. Love it. That's got to be the one tonight, mate. I love it. You've got the top comment there. Put that in the comment section and that'll get pinned. Love it, Bam Mozzie. Yeah, I think it was Gil. Who was it that was made that comment? Sorry, I've got to find that because it's a very, very good point, which is about the cut of the nut. Who made the comment about? There we go. It was YouTube 13. Regardless of price, properly cut nut for first fret action and no pinch strings makes for an in-tune guitar. Totally. Now earlier, I showed you how to check the relief. And just a quick reminder for anybody that doesn't know, obviously the relief you check by fretting the first and the last fret, make sure it rings out. The other thing you want to check for is how high the nut's cut. You fret out at the 4th fret, and then you need to look and have a see how much there is above your 1st fret. It should still ping just, but there shouldn't be much play. So if you just touch that, that shouldn't have a lot of travel. If it's got a lot of travel when you're fretting it out at the 4th fret, then your nut is cut too high. If it doesn't ping, then your nut is cut too low. This Harley Benton, I'm so impressed with this. It's actually perfectly set up. And I didn't do it. I didn't do it. This is still got the original strings on. This is how it came set up from the factory. So yeah, really, really important that you make sure that you've got really nicely cut nut and that it's the right height, so that you don't push sharp your 1st, 2nd, and sometimes 3rd fret. If you've got the nut that's too high, everybody's experienced this. You tune the guitar and it's perfectly in tune. You play a chord and it all sounds wrong. That's usually that you've got the strings bent into a higher pitch, and so you're pushing them out of tune by fretting out. So you need a lower cut nut. That's the solution to that. Bam Mozzie says the nut is much more important to tuning stability than locking tuners. I couldn't agree more, my friend. Absolutely. If you've got really well cut nut and it's lubricated, you must keep your nuts lubricated, my friends. Then you will find that the string will settle and it will travel and it will move and it will stay in tune. Excuse me, that chocolate's coming back on me. Pete Brown, what up, dude? Good to see you. Yeah, you will only find the tuning goes out if the strings are being pinched in the nut, if there's not that freedom and frictionless travel. That's why it's actually quite fun. I've tried a guitar with a roller nut, but I've never been brave enough to install one. But it sounds like a great idea to me, because anything that reduces the friction all the way from the saddle to the winding post, if there's zero friction there, your string should not go out of tune. Well, unless, of course, the tuner itself is slipping, which is very unusual. So, yeah, really important. Good point. The chocolates are from Germany. They are indeed, my friend. Andy W's got a Jackson of the Floyd Rose. The nut is miles high. There you go. And that's a nightmare, because the locking nut on a Floyd Rose trem system is... you can lower it, but you have to take the whole thing off, and you actually have to shave off some of the wood. And that's not something I recommend doing yourself, because okay, you can shim it if you go too low, but then you affect some of the stability of and the transfer of resonance by having to build it up again. So ideally, you don't want that. The locking mechanism has nothing to do with tuning stability. They're only there for quick changes. Adam D, that's a good point. A lot of people do feel, though, that by having less winds, with that, the potential for those winds to slip and to detune, that locking tuners can improve tuning stability in that respect. James Mears, is that the benefit of a 0 fret? Not really, no. A 0 fret will help you to get your string height across the first few frets a lot closer, because that 0 fret happens to be machined just a little bit higher, so it will help with that. But what it won't help with is the friction, because actually your string stays on that 0 fret, and that's an additional point of friction, James. So it can actually make more friction on the string, and so it can the innuendo with guitar talk is ridiculous. Yeah, so 0 fret can actually add friction and cause a problem, and I've seen guitars where that has been a problem, where particularly wound strings can stick on the first fret. Yeah, and that's a very good point as well, Bam Mozzie. You need to be sure that you're winding your strings correctly and that they lock in. In the old-fashioned way, we used to do 1 over, 1 under, or 1 under, 1 over, sorry. So you'd wind the first wind under, tighten it up, and put the next wind over, so that it's catching on itself both under and over. But these days, with locking nuts, you just pull the string through, tighten it up, and that's it. Yes, sorry, Axis 2084, I coughed. Don't worry about me. There's nobody else here, and I didn't cough anything onto the hard surfaces, but I've had this cough for 8 weeks before Christmas. Everybody knows that, and so I don't think it's anything to do with the current coughing fits that are going around. They can for people who can't wind properly. Right, there you go. As you just said, restring winds, Ben Mozzie. I've got a lot to learn. Where's the hidden hand? Hey man, that's what you come here for, and it's great. I'm so pleased to get new guitarists, new starters. That was a mixture of new starters and new guitarists. Yeah, it's great. I hope it's helping you. YouTube 13 says a 0 fret is just so it wears out faster. Really? Yeah, I don't know what you're saying there. I don't quite get where that's heading. You could have a point, and I'm trying to think what it is. I don't quite get that. Zero frets tend to be on guitars where they do want to where they've got issues about the break angle of the neck or the headstock or things like that. It just helps to make sure that that first fret is at the right height for all the others to set the relief away from. But I'm not always a big fan of zero fret guitars, but that's a whole nother video. With emphasis on feel, the only slip if you don't know what you're doing. If something slips is defective gears in the tuner. It can be defective gears. I had that bass, that Glary bass that I did up and gave away to the young lad for Christmas, and that had a broken gear in the D-string tuner, and that can happen, that's for sure, absolutely. Having a good luthier look over and set up your guitar is quite helpful. They can address the basic issues as well as any other issues you need addressing. Yeah, and if you why no zero fret on a locking nut? Right, well, a locking nut, you don't need a zero fret, because I'll come back to that, because I was just answering another question and I got distracted by that. Yes, having it set up, a lot of people recommend, if you've got a friend that knows how to do guitar setups and is sort of luthier minded, then you can take them with you to buy a guitar, and that's always worthwhile. So yeah, definitely. Mikey, thank you so much, my friend. Some nut lube, my funds, my friend. Love it. That is funny. Very much appreciated, buddy. Thank you for the tip in the tip jar there. That's really, really kind. Axis says, I have... Oh, sorry. I need to go back and address that. Why no zero fret on locking nut? Very simply, the locking nut itself is a zero fret because they're metal. They're usually made of metal, a locking nut. And where the string comes out and makes that final contact with the nut before you clamp it down and bolt those in on a Floyd Rose type system, that then clamps it into exactly the right place and exactly the right height for that guitar when it was manufactured. So that's the point. They can get them wrong, and they are an absolute nightmare to change the height on a locking nut. So you don't need a zero fret. That is very, very true. And I was just going back to Axis 2084. You've got COPD, a type of emphysema from growing up with a chain smoker. Oh, man. If I cough these days, people look horrified, even with me wearing a mask. Yeah, man, I know the feeling. I've had this cough for such a long time. Actually, not many people are seeing me cough, because the only time I'm going out the house at the moment is to do an hour-long ride in the mornings. So that's about the only chance I get to go out. And I cough like crazy. I hope it's not bronchitis or COPD, China Mike. It's not pneumonia or the remnants of that. I don't know what it is, buddy. I really don't. I just haven't been able to shake this cough for the longest time. I went to the doctors twice before, and I had a cough that lasted a long, long time. And I think it's still the same one. And so I've had a couple of chest x-rays just to rule out anything more sinister. And I've got no issue there that they can see on an x-ray. So I've no idea what it is. It feels more like it's at the top of my, is it bronchial? I don't know. Anyway, it's definitely below the larynx, but right up here. And it's a tickly little devil. It really is. Oh, Jason Wade's got to fly. Hey, man, go and enjoy your supper. Thanks for hanging out. Be happy, be safe. Dale Palmer discovered a coughing fit is very effective when around people not practicing social distancing. Love it, love it. Hurricane Moon, Glary, 50 Shades of Blackie Stratocaster. She's there. We love her. Oh, sorry, Mikey, I didn't take your very kind donation there, and I didn't say thank you so much. So thank you again, Mikey. That's really appreciated, brother. Where have I missed? How's your CG D45? Oh, the Counterfeit D45. Yeah, it's all good. I've got it. I played it today. Hang on. There it is, the D45. Yeah, she still sounds all right. In fact, I have to say, as much as it pains me to say it because I don't like fakes, that is maturing and sounding better and better with time. So it's doing what an acoustic should do, which is a worry. Ben, I don't think we infected each other, mate. No. No, they haven't put me on any inhalers. I've got no asthma. I've got no COPD or anything like that. I've just got a cough. I do get a little bit out of breath, but I think that's more to do with carrying too much weight that I'm trying to do something about while I'm in quarantine. So I'm cycling an hour a day, which really does help my chest, actually. I do cough some nasty stuff out, but there we are. You've had a runny nose since January. I just licked my moustache. Oh, Ed, that's disgusting. Pete Brown says, you've got COPD as well, chronic bronchitis and severe adult asthma. I've also had pneumonia twice, so I get concerned with friends who have coughing issues. It can also be sinus related. I've always had sinus trouble, brother. And yeah, I definitely think mine is more likely to be a bit of PND overnight that builds up in the lungs, the top of the lungs. Sounds nice for Counterfeit. Yeah, thank you. It doesn't sound too bad. Daryl B07, the wizard. Sasha Snyder says, CGS, have you paid a visit to an ENT doctor, have your tonsils checked out? I haven't, because I had my tonsils whipped out when I was a child. They took them out as a matter of routine almost when I was a child. And actually, I wish they hadn't, because it's only dawned on me with this COVID experience that your tonsils are there to purposely collect viruses and bacteria for your body to build up an immune system. It's part of your immune system, your tonsils. So I've got no tonsils. And I put a lot of my snoring down to not having tonsils, although actually you tend to snore with tonsils because it closes the back of the throat up a bit. But never mind. Dale Palmer's got allergies and the maple trees are causing you to have a dry cough lately. Oh, my word. PG Tips, does that do it? Dorothy, that's lovely. I love hanging out with you as well, and I enjoy talking to you. Craig Pass, hey man, good to see you, brother. It can also be triggered by allergies. Yeah, I think I've developed a few little allergies as I've got older. But there we go. BV Ninja, I think you've said this to me before, and I must try it because I could be lactose intolerant, and cutting out dairy might help. It's worth a try. We'll have a look. I'll have a think about that. I must admit, I don't have milk in my coffee, but I've not had coffee for the longest time because it was staining my teeth. Isn't that vain? Because I absolutely love coffee. In fact, I'm going to have a coffee tomorrow. Oh, Gil, bless you, man. That is so kind. Thank you very much. Very, very much appreciated. Never courted, but always appreciated, brother. Thank you for that. Nice little tip. And I will certainly keep rocking, my friend. In fact, you get another bit of acoustic for that. That's there we go. Bless you. Thank you so much, Gil. Very, very kind. Let me put my thank you banner up for you, brother. Cheers. Really do appreciate that. Thank you. Pete Brown, thank you for all you do for the guitar community. I'm glad you're here during this pandemic. Oh, man, thank you. Jack Daniels helps the throat, Mikey. Yeah. No, Pete, it's always lovely to have you guys in. We've still got 65 of you. Wow, which is great. And it's always such a joy to hang out with you guys because it's just good fun to hang and have a chat. It's really cool. So we were there. My teeth always look good. Bless you. Right, okay. Lactose intolerance is mainly a problem with the digestive system. Okay. Didn't know that. Wow, there you go. Kelly Setero says, I want to own a good playing guitar before I die, but don't have much money. What do I get? That's such a big, broad question. And it kind of brings us back onto the topic for this evening, which is about value brands and about that mid-range price point. And definitely, if you want a guitar that's going to last you your whole life, the best way to find it, and this, forget about price just for a moment, completely forget about price. In fact, what I think is a great piece of advice that I once took and tried and made me buy a guitar that I didn't intend to buy, right, is I went into a guitar shop and didn't look at either the brand or the price on guitars. I just got a lot of guitars down and I played them and I picked them almost as a Gabor! And I played them because there is nothing that can beat playing a guitar to see if it's the right one for you. Definitely. So for sure, that's the best way. So if you've got a good friend that is a luthier or is good at setting up guitars, go with them to a guitar store and get them to look it over technically from that perspective and to see if there are any issues that are going to be costly on it. And then the most important thing is playing it. And don't forget that a guitar that doesn't play great could be to do with the setup, could easily be to do with the setup. So your friend telling you what that's like will help you and assist you in your decision making. But yeah, first time out and holding on to a guitar for a lifetime, yeah, that's a big first question. And I would definitely save up so that you allow yourself to pick the guitar that you really like when you go and play a few. BV Ninja, Mike, check out my friend Tom Britt on YouTube, a little known Nashville treasure, session musician extraordinaire. Right, wow, okay. We'll do that because you know what I'm like. When you ask me to do these things, I generally do my best to oblige. Tom Britt guitar. I'm guessing, BV Ninja, that this is the gentleman in question. Correct? There you go. So, Gabor, how are you, brother? While we're having a look and waiting for BV Ninja to tell us if that's his buddy. I hope you're well, sir. Lovely to see you in. And I hope lockdown is looking after you. Barry Pugach says, I recommend the CGS guitar setup video from a few years back. It's in the video archive. Must see. Thank you, my friend. I'm glad it's useful. It's definitely... I've done another one fairly recently as well. And I also did one on my buddy Mike Bradley's channel. So we set up his Strat. And he absolutely loved playing it after I'd set it up for him. And I showed him how to do it. Run your fingers up and down the neck to try and see if there are any fret end issues. Yep, for sure. If you've got fret sprout on a guitar, the quickest way to find that is just to angle your fingers in and run it along like that. Be very careful, because if they are really sharp, I've cut my fingers before, so I tend to use the tips of my fingers where they're hard and calloused from playing. You're great. How are you? I'm good, brother. I'm really good. Thanks, Gabor. It's lovely to see you in, mate. Really is. BV, you haven't said whether this is your mate or not. I don't think you did. But I'm going to keep that up and I'll look at him later. That's for sure. I will check him out. I promise you. Hurricane Moon says, CGS, another dude that's hot on the Delta Blues is Justin Johnson. Makes his own guitar from whiskey barrels. Do you know, funny enough, today I was looking at a guitar hanger, wall hanger, that was made out of the round bit of a whiskey barrel, which looks like a great idea. But making guitars, even plays the shovel. Do you know what? That's the guy that I met at NAMM this year. Good Lord. See, now I remember one and forgot the other. Rob Scallon, he plays a shovel guitar. It's hilarious with a single string on it. Axis 2084 says, CGS, there were some sellers on one of the marketplaces a few months back selling PRS and Gibson fakes for less than $100. I think they had no guitars and were just taking people's money and running. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Barry says, I still look the same. Bless you. Pete Brown says, last guitar I bought was a mid-range PRS SE, was originally 900 and got it on sale for 599. It's become your favourite. That's awesome. That is awesome. You're going crazy, Gabor. I'm not surprised. We're all going a little bit stir crazy. Oh, he did say that it's him. Sorry, I missed that. Thank you, Gabor. Thank you, Ben. And thank you, James Mears. And thank you, BV Ninja. I'm sorry I missed it. Yeah, cool. I'll check out his channel for sure. That looks great, man. Cads! My buddy Cads is in. And it's lovely to see you. Dovey Dust plays a shovel guitar and a bowling pin guitar too. Now, Cads has an issue, guys, with his Mac. He's been trying to sort out something. Who here is a Mac guru? Because I said to him tonight that we would mention it on the live stream if he come and joined us at some point. So is anybody here a real Mac guru? Because he's got a question for you. Nick67, be happy, be safe, brother. And thanks so much for hanging out with us. You take care. And it's an absolute pleasure. The info is... it's what I'm here for, man. It's what I'm here for. And if I can help, I will. And also, let me just say as well, there's a load of people in the comments that are far more knowledgeable than I am. So the great thing about these live streams is I can tell you what I think, and it will be added to, augmented and improved immeasurably by the knowledge that's in the comments of 64 of you now that are all wise. So thanks for sharing your knowledge as well, guys. Sasha Snyder says, as someone on Twitter wrote, when you find your lifestyle is actually called quarantine, for me, not much has changed. Oh, man. Oh, not man, I shouldn't say. But yeah, I have to say very little has changed with me because I have been making videos and doing my own business since March last year, and I spend most of my time in this studio. And very comfortable I am here as well. I really feel in my element out here, so that's all good. Yes, as Cads... Now, Cads, I don't know, I think you said earlier that you've got problems with your internet speed connection. So... is there much point in me inviting you on to show people what your issue is with the Mac, or can you explain it in the comment section? Terry's G&G, good to see you, brother. Lovely to see you in. Absolutely superb. Okay. Right. Wise, I don't know about that. I certainly have a smart mouth. Is that right, Craig? Craig, you are a wise man. You were one of the very first, if not the first, to enlighten so many people with the video we put out about having your own logo and name put on the headstock of the fakes to stop them being trademark infringing. So you're a very, very wise man. Keith Wind, what was that, your take on the Fusion Pro compared to the PT Sir you played? Right. Yeah, absolutely. Now, there is a world of difference, and I was going to come on to this because I would consider that Pete Thorne's guitar, and this kind of takes us on to that final stage of this. And by the way, if you have commented on my Sir versus Budget video on Friday, after this live stream, probably tomorrow at some point, I will respond and like and love all those comments. I just wanted to leave it until tonight so that I didn't give away any of what we were going to chat about tonight. So it hasn't been that I haven't bothered or have forgotten. I will do it. But yeah, going back to that Pete Thorne question, I would say that at 2,000 plus, 2.5 grand plus for a guitar, you are now into, for me anyway, you're into what I would call high end. that I would call, definitely that's where I would put my marker at high end, anything above 2.5 grand. So what are your feelings in here about the price point for what you would consider to be a high end, and obviously forget about the custom and private stocks and the custom shop and all that kind of stuff, but from a production run sort of guitar value, what would you say the price point is for changing from mid price to high end? Because I think I've just given it up, haven't I? I've just said it's 2.5k for me, but there you go. Bam Mozzie's the same as me, 2.5 grand is high end. Okay, Mikey Newman says over 1200. Hal Face says over 1200, and that's a pretty high figure as well. I get where you're coming from, definitely. Gavin James says, I was reliably informed that Cork Guitars, or at least the factory where they're based, makes guitars under license for Ibanez, Fender, etc. Is that right? It is. There's an awful lot of what they call ghost building goes on in the guitar communities, in the guitar building community, if you like. So, yeah, there's a lot of guitars that are built in the same factories. And World Musical Instruments makes a huge amount of guitars for lots of different brands. 1200, 1800, 1000, yeah, okay. 600, okay. Andy thinks. Andy W. Hurricane Moon says 2k. No one's wrong. That's very true. It is a very subjective question, and that's why we're getting subjective answers. About 13 would be your top. Okay, 2.5 grand is the beginning of high end for me. Ben Coombs is 1k. I think the 1k mark. Terry's G&G says mid-range ends, high end begins. Gibson Standard isn't high end, an R8 is. Okay, yeah, there you go. Gabor says around 2,000 Australian dollars, which is about £9 UK sterling at the current exchange rate. Love it, brother. Well, we were only working in US dollars, so but you weren't here when we said that, so you can be forgiven, brother. Gabor! Yeah, high end, mid end are 2,000 to 3,000. High end 3.5 grand to 5 grand. BV Ninja. And then there's my friend Nick Huber in the hyper high end. Yeah, well, as I say, I've got a £12,000 Framus, and I definitely understand the law of diminishing returns, but I bought that for purely sentimental reasons. It's because we played it together. Phil X and I played it at GitCon together, and loads of people played that guitar at GitCon. It kind of was the guitar at GitCon. It was used on the jam nights, and it's just lovely to own a piece of the history that I was lucky enough to be involved with. 1,200, 1,500, 2,000, yeah, 3.5k. Okay, yeah. So we're all agreed. We're all agreed. Dorothy Collins, I'm afraid I won't sell you that Marshall stack. Hey, there's my 2210, my Lead 100. Oh, that's my Lead 100. That's a Harley Benton Tuba 12, and that's a Marshall 1960A. With loaded with 575s, sorry, 475s. But I've had that for since the 80s, 86, 87 or something like that, and it's like a child to me. Sorry, can't sell it. Nick Huber is in the cork sniffer end. Oh right, they're nice though. Don't get me wrong. Justin Johnson, Mike. Sold! How good is your FedEx model guitar? Do a video about it. I've done an unboxing video and chatted about it, and I've played it and demoed it. I don't think I've really talked about the playability. Again, I love the thick neck on that. I really like a thick neck. But for me, there are a few things that if I was speccing it out rather than FedEx speccing it out, I would probably have thicker jumbo frets or medium jumbo frets, and there's a few bits and pieces that I would change, but that's I'm not knocking it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Halface. He's not knocking anybody, but after 3,000, you're buying more than a guitar. It's a different thing. That's what we're coming on to. George Hen, under the Marshall head, that's another Marshall head. That's a Lead 100. The loudest clean amp and pedal platform that you are likely to find. I bought it hoping to get that Marshall tone, and even when I rocked it right up on full volume where it's ear-splittingly loud, it is a solid state amp. It is clean as a whistle, and I nearly cried. I will do a video about the Philex guitar. Sentimental reasons, yeah, absolutely. That's why I bought the Philex. But I can certainly see with the fit and finish and the quality standard of everything about that guitar, how that can be a subjective purchase. Definitely, it does make a difference. I think that once you get above about 1,500, 2 grand. Actually, that's in UK. So up to about 2,500. I think anything over that, you begin to hit that wall of diminishing returns. So for a lot of extra money, the diminishing returns, just being really hyper explanatory here, it means that as you spend more and more and more and more and more, you get less and less and less in terms of difference. But those differences are as important as they are subtle, because when it comes to building your own completely custom tailor-made guitar, every single bit of that guitar, including the wood choices, the grain, all of the specs for the shape of the guitar, the feel of the neck, I think that once you get beyond production line guitars, once you get into the realm of a custom built guitar, the subjectivity becomes as important as the reliability and the playability, because at that price point you expect reliability, you demand reliability and playability. So it's all those other little nuanced things that really, make a big difference subjectively to you. And that can make a huge difference, particularly to those of you that, unlike me, are really advanced players. If you're a really, really good player and you can feel a major difference between 5 mil on the thickness of a neck, I mean, most of us can. If you can feel the difference between 1 mil or 0.5 millimeter or, 1/64 of an inch on a neck, and you can feel that difference in compound radius on the fretboard, that level of player can improve their playing and the feel of a guitar immeasurably. And that's where that money is well spent. That's my opinion. Cad says, hey, the guys helped the MacBook Pro uploads video, but only 40%, then says can't upload. Why to YouTube from Logic Pro? Okay, the MacBook Pro uploads videos, but only 40%, and then says it can't upload. So that's his problem. That's Cad's there. What I don't understand is you can't buy a USA-made guitar for under 1,000. That's simply, I think, Dorothy, because of labour costs. We are living in the Western world. BV Ninja, Jason McNamara. I know Jason McNamara. That's cool. There's a live with Philex. If you want to talk with Phil, I can arrange for you to get a link to appear and say hello. Hey man, that could be really fun. Would love that. Jason was at the first GitCon. I wasn't actually, and I'm saying I know him. I don't think he was at the second one, so I don't think I did meet him. Oh, that's really cool. That's brilliant. Yeah, I'd be well up for that, buddy. If you can make that work, that would be superb. Bless you, and thank you for that. That's very kind. Sasha says there's only one reason for me to ever pay more than 1K for a guitar if it's actually custom built by a Luthier to my exact specs. Yeah. Now the problem that you have to look at, and I had this discussion with Lewis of LT Custom Guitars, and I told him he wasn't charging enough for his guitars, because I know this sounds counterintuitive and crazy. But at the end of the piece, if you wanted to get a plumber to come out and work on your pipework in your house, or an electrician to come out and work on rewiring your house, and you asked them to do a job that would take them upwards of 100 hours, you could expect a bill for probably 8 grand, because, and that's in UK, because the going rate, hourly rate for a plumber in the UK at the minute is around 80 quid call out. And can you imagine what guitars would cost when Lewis Trower puts in over 100 hours into a guitar and then sells it for 2,500? So once he's taken off the cost of the materials, and I'll be perfectly frank with you there, the materials alone in a guitar can easily cost anywhere from, well, if it's really, we won't go really cheap, but if you're looking at decent aged woods and, you know, good branded hardware, you know, your hip shots, your Gotos, all that kind of stuff, and decent pickups, the cost alone of the materials can be over £1,000. So you're never really going to get a properly tailor-made, custom-built guitar. Really, you shouldn't be able to get it for less than £2,500, which is why that's my price point for what I would call to be high-end. Send me a Facebook PM. Okay, BV, I'll do that. Bear with me. While I'm typing. What, Pete Brown, yes, had to buy some hand moisturizer. Yeah, everybody's hands are getting really, really dry with this hand washing. Oh man, it is crazy. Oh my word. See, I haven't been onto my Facebook page for so long. I've got 36 messages in my inbox, so I apologise if anybody's been trying to inbox me. Oops. Now, where are you, BV? There you are. PM you to remind you about the Phil X thing and Jason McNamara. Spelt wrong, but there you go. There's a reminder. Bless you, BV. Appreciate that. Really do. So, yeah. To me, it's the 5% difference between £200 guitar and a £3,000 guitar. Yeah, that's the law of diminishing returns that you're talking about right there. Craig Pass, good evening all. Take care. Thank you, my friend. Be happy, be safe. It's been amazing to have you drop in and see us again. So thanks for that. Yeah, so I think it's, how do you guys feel about it? I think that once you get above £2,500 and you're having all of the choices about everything, that Sir that I played, that telly that I played on the show on Friday, was a €2,800 production guitar. Although you can't really call some of these brands production because they are generally all hand finished. You know, it's like the Friedmans. So what are your thoughts on this, guys? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm off whack with the $2,500 price point? And do you get what I'm saying about the cost to a luthier to build that kind of thing? Bam Mozzie says, I think some people think chuck some wood in a CNC machine and fully built guitar comes out the other end with no need to sand and any tooling marks out. Yeah, exactly. It's like I had Core guitars over here just before the lockdown, and it was great to see Adam from Core Guitars, and I've had Stuart from SBC, and I've had Lewis from LT Custom Guitars, and holding their guitars. Core, what I was going to say about Core is they start by CNCing the body, but the finishing work is exquisite. You will never ever find any rough sanding marks, or tooling, definitely not tooling marks. and it takes time to do that. If you want rounded fret ends, now if I show you these on this Harley Benton, these fret ends are finished by running various grades of sanding block up the edge of this fretboard. Okay, that takes probably, I don't know, up to half an hour, perhaps maybe an hour if it's thick and needs doing. When you get a guitar where you look at the fret ends and they are completely rounded over, that means that a luthier has gone to every single one of those frets with a fine fret file. Oops, sorry. Saying sorry to the guitar for whacking it. With a fine fret file, and they have rounded the ends of each and every single fret over, and then they've made that complete ball end, which is so comfortable to play. The Framus XG that I've got is exactly like that. That can be 5 or 6 hours of work to do that. If you wanted a plumber to do 5 or 6 hours of work, you'd be looking at $400, maybe $500, wouldn't you? So, you know, there's where the money goes. But totally agree with you, Bam Mozzie. You can start off with the CNC. In fact, it's a good idea to start with CNCing, because if you can bring your production cost down by not hand cutting everything and hand shaping, particularly on carved tops, if you can CNC a carved top and then finish by hand, you can save a lot of time. And time is what costs money when you are talking about high-end guitars. Yeah, absolutely, Sasha. That's it. You wouldn't pay more than 1K for a factory-made guitar, production line guitar. Absolutely. And if you were buying a Luthier built, then over $3,000. Absolutely. And I think that's what it is. That really is the essence of, for me, real high-end guitars. Now, going back to the original thing about that Sir. Oh, bless you, Sean Darcy. It's been great. Be happy, be safe, mate, and thanks for hanging out tonight. It was lovely to have you here. Yeah, so that Sir guitar played beautifully. The fret ends were really, really nicely rounded off. The setup was perfect. The resonance between the neck and the body was perfect. The balance of that guitar was perfect. There's a lot of things that you expect and kind of, I feel, should take for granted on a guitar that costs that kind of money, that is allegedly a production guitar. Especially a guitar, you know, the funny thing to me is that I love Telecasters, and it was lovely to play that. And every guitar manufacturer and his dog make a Telecaster ripoff. It's why I started with the Tele, with the Milton range of guitars. And yet you can feel, and it is feel, you can feel the difference between a hand-built, hand-finished guitar that a luthier has held and felt, and it's the super fine touch is in the build process is a huge key aspect of finishing off hand-built guitars. Gabor says guitars like the Tom Fuchs guitars we played at 42 Gear Street were amazing guitars. Yeah, absolutely. The finishing on those was just exquisite. All meticulously handmade by one guitar, the amount of time he spends. Exactly. And if you remember, Gabor, they had those beautifully rounded off finished fret ends, and the fact that the neck, that little bit just outside the fretboard, there was a little gap, and that was absolutely exquisitely rounded off. And those little tiny attentions to detail, when you're running your hand up a neck and you feel that neck, that can make all of the difference. Weight relief, properly balanced weight relieved guitars will just sit with you, and they, you know, these are what I was saying, they're tiny little nuances, but they are mega important when it comes to the subjective nature of every player. That's my belief. I hope you guys agree. But I'm really interested to see what you have to say, because this is one of the panel things I'd like to have thought about doing when I was at an event like 42 Gear Street or or TGU, because actually I think this is an area where a lot of guitar players A, find some common ground, but also B, it's really fascinating to hear everybody else's input into this, because you can learn a lot. Mikey Newman says it's really not hard to do those kind of fret ends. I do all mine like that, even on cheap guitars. Well, there you go. But how long does it take you, Mikey? It takes forever to do it right and to not mess up the guitar and not mess up the fretboard. Yeah, there you go. Gabor says that's the first time he really understood why guitars cost $3,000 plus. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely, Bam. He says, you don't have to tell me about the work and time spent on fit and finish. That's what I pay for with my guitars. There you go. Pete Brown, I'd spend up to $1,500 for a production guitar, above $3,500 on a full custom. Cad says, since the separation with the missus, I would just have to hear about expensive gear, kicked out, COVID-19, bad times. We'll get there hopefully in 8 months or so. Mate, I didn't mention it because I didn't know if you wanted to make it public knowledge, but there you go. It's out there, and I really hope that you're okay, brother. Really do. Ben, thanks for dropping in. Be happy, be safe, mate. Ben will be streaming later on tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, so check him out. Cads, I have a fat neck. I'm a fat, unbalanced mess. You're certainly not, my friend. You are a absolute diamond guy, and you are going to move on from this, and things will get better for you, brother. They definitely will. Gabor says, yeah, they were amazingly well-made finished guitars. Use attention to detail is crazy. His T-Star guitars were insanely good. Terry Tickler, my friend Seth Backus guitars feel $1 million. He started at $2,000, handmade in Cornwall. Wow, I'd love to know more about that. In fact, what I'll do is, while I'm there, I'm just going to pop his name into a search window, and we'll all have a look at Seth Backus guitars. Here we go, guys. This is at the suggestion of my buddy Terry Tickler. So let's have a look at some of the guitars he makes. You were talking about... Well, let's have a look at the T style. Shoreline T. Oh, these look quite relic-y, are they? Oh, wow. That's like a little PRS horn at the bottom of that. That's quite unique. And I really quite like that rounded body style. That's cool. Very nice. And look, string through body. Very nice indeed. Wow, look. He's got that kind of unique cut, hasn't he, there? That's really good. Yeah, everybody's saying bye to Ben. Check his live stream out later on, guys. Excellent. Detlev, 6 hours. There you go. Polish and doing that kind of fretwork. Oh, good, Cads. I'm glad. And you are family, mate. And all of us here, we're all family together. So you've got a lot of friends here supporting you, mate. And yeah, be happy, mate. Be happy. Life is very short. Gabor, you take care, brother. Much love to you and the family and the children. And oh, they back to school, are they? Oh, first day of full online school. Yeah, I was going to say we're not back. It looks like they might be going back in May or June. Mikey Settlemire, howdy. Take care, Ben. CGS Mike, Seth Backus is a friend. He also has a very famous father-in-law, guitar luthier. Wow, BV. You know everybody. You know all the cool kids. That's so cool. This guy makes really, really nice looking guitars. Look at these. I love the look of that. Nautilus hollow body. Look at that. Yeah, I can't quite order one right now, I'm afraid. I wish I could get rid of that. That's annoying, that nag screen. Look at that. That is beautiful. Semi-hollow body. Look at the quality of the hardware on that. And again, look at these fret ends. They're rounded off. They're not rounded over, though. I like the ones that are rounded over, so that the whole end is like the end of a little tiny ball bearing. They feel great. Warm resonance, sweet sounds. I do like that little bottom horn. That's a really nice cut, isn't it? Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Oh, right. There you go. Blackjack Locking Nut has suggested CADs that... Sorry, I didn't finish saying goodbye to Gabor. Be happy, be safe, brother, and catch you soon, mate. I did. I said lots of love to you and the family. Of course I did. Yeah, Cad says it... Blackjack Locking Nut said it might be the amount of people uploading. I haven't had any issues with it, though. I think there's probably an issue. Could be a read-write issue with your memory, I think. If it's not got enough memory to load all of the amount that it's trying to upload in, then it does this caching thing. And if it uses the hard drive... I don't know, because I'm not a Mac person, mate. I'm really sorry. CGS, best thing, I can actually come and see you now. No stress. Soon as this lockdown's over, mate, you're here. And we are going to have a recording session and a few beers. That's our session as well. And you are definitely most welcome, my friend. We're going to make that happen, I promise you. We said that at Birmingham. It will happen. Music Therapy Lads. Hey, Mike. I'll be going live in 10 minutes, but still listening. Oh, wow, man. What's the time? Oh, my word. We've done an hour and 51 already. Oh, man. I so enjoy these live streams with you guys. Do you know, hand on heart, I didn't even think we'd hit an hour yet. That is frightening. That is scary. Wow. I did check over on the clock a couple of times as well. Wow. Wow. But yeah, Music Therapy Lads will be going live in 10 minutes. So if you guys want to see him at midnight, midnight UK, I'm guessing that's about 6 p.m. over there, is it, at the moment for you, MTL? Ed Williams says, yeah, I noticed the cut out of the neck. It's nice, isn't it? That really is. That's a really nice style. I really like that. That's really pretty. Look at that wood, that finishing. Let's have a closer look up. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. I would really, really like to get hold of a couple of those. BV, if you know the guy and you would be willing to put in a word, if he would like me to make a video on a guitar or a couple of his guitars, please let him know that I do that for nothing, because I do it for you guys. So if he wants to send them and pay the shipping both ways, I will do videos gladly for him. George Hand says, I'm so thankful for all the live streams lately. Well, that's an absolute pleasure, my friend. And thank you very much for being so kind about it. I'm delighted that you enjoy it. 7 p.m. on the East Coast. Okay, so 1 a.m. there. Oh, wow. Sasha, whereabouts are you, Sasha? If it's 1 a.m., you're this way. You must be Germany. Are you in Germany? It's been lovely. I absolutely appreciate you hanging out. So be happy, be safe, and thank you for hanging out tonight. That's really cool. Nautilus inlays are nice. Yes, they really are. They are, aren't they? Yeah, the Mac issue is not uploading fully. Can be a few things. First thing is how large the video files are and how much memory do you have? How old's your Mac? That's what I was going to say. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Sasha. Take good care. Looks very nice. James Mears, if you are, don't use the built-in upload YouTube direct from Final Cut at CADs. Export to a file on your hard drive first. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's great advice, James. I would never upload direct to YouTube from any program. I would always render it out and into the coding format that YouTube likes. And I think you're looking at, it depends if you're doing 4K or if you're doing 1080, but certainly YouTube like at 1080, they like to have about 8K, whatever that's called, bitrate, about 8,000 K 8K, sorry, 8,000K. They like that. And get your audio files to the right format as well, and it'll upload much easier. But YouTube won't be the problem. YouTube will take pretty much any kind of video and re-encode it to suit itself. It always does it anyway. You hate F-holes, Hurricane Moon. I quite like them, but then again, that's the wonderful subjective nature of guitar. Mike, I've just spoken to Jason FedEx. The date has to be rescheduled. We'll let you know as soon as I do. Mate, that's an absolute no problem at all. I really appreciate you putting in these good words for me, BV. You are a rock star, and much love to you, brother. Thank you for that. That would be awesome. And give Jason my best regards as well. Terry Tickler's off as well. Cheers. Be happy, be safe, and thanks for hanging out, Terry. Yeah, absolutely, Cads. James has got the idea. Oh, you're in Malta, Sasha. Excellent. Well, say hi to Rob Chapman for me if you bump into him. But take care. Be happy, be safe. Bam Mozzie, there's a 4,600 quid guitar, similar in price to a PRS 594 hollow body, which is similar in style. Right, wow. Wow. That is when, sorry, I can't say that name. I don't know what that is, but says when a beginner guitarist is showing some improvement, do you think it's a good idea to spend about 2,000 for a guitar to practice and get better with? Probably not. No. If you get a reliable mid-range guitar, something like, and I can thoroughly recommend PRS SE range. I've never played one that hasn't been a really nice guitar. So I would say, depending on age, if they're likely to play it and follow through and keep playing it, then it's worth an investment. But I would say something in the $600 to $800, $900 range. PRS SE, you can't go wrong with all day long. A Fender player, you can't go wrong with all day long. An Epiphone Les Paul, you can't go wrong with all day long. All very solid guitars at that kind of price range. And then later, when they're a more experienced player, then they'll feel the difference on playing, and then that's when they'll pick their forever guitar. So yeah, price in a material, if it inspires, makes them want to pick up and practice even more. Absolutely, that's very true, Bam. And if you can afford it, yeah, spend the money, because a lot of those it'll be an investment. So yeah. Mike, I will speak to Seth. I know at the moment he does not send his guitars out at all. One reason, he does not make large numbers, plus he's a great guitarist himself. Yeah, I'm not suggesting he wanted to send it to me for my guitar playing skills, BV, but just if he wanted to expose it to all of my good friends here on the channel. Yes, Cads, Chap has got out of UK. He's currently living in Malta. Graham Campbell, thanks for hanging, man. Be happy, be safe, and it's been lovely seeing you in. You take care, brother, and I'm glad you've enjoyed the stream tonight. Oh, Blackjack locking nuts off as well, is he? And you take care as well. Well, we're coming up to 2 hours, guys. I think we probably should. It's a shame, because I was only just getting warmed up on the topic, because it is a very, very wide topic. Maybe we should break it down and do a little bit more of this. I think I would like to do a video. I feel I'm overdue another video on this. What do you guys think? Because this is actually sounding pretty cool. Detlev says Mike is very unsharp. What have I done? What have I done wrong, Detlev? James, I will try what you say. Yeah, cool. That's excellent. Harley Benton. I don't know. What are you saying there, Detlev? Have I upset you? Mike is very unsharp. Have I missed comments or something? If a neck doesn't vibrate, you won't play it. Adam D. Okay, Hurricane Moon. Be happy, be safe. Thanks for hanging. Really good to see you again. James Mears' video is very poor quality at CGS. What, this live stream? Oh, I'm really sorry. Oh, buddy. Well, look, we're over 2 hours now anyway. No, I know, BV, that's cool. That is no worries. Yeah, talk to him. Let him know. Let him know. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. I could discuss guitars with you all day as well, Bam. I love your input into these, and thank you so much for what you do in terms of moderating here. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, okay. It seems like my bandwidth has messed up. Okay, I think given the bad quality of the stream and the fact that we have hit the 2 hour mark, I'm gonna bid you all adieu, and we'll do more of this next time. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. Anyway, what a way to end such a real cool stream. But you all take good care, and I'll see you on the other side. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot. Be happy, be safe. Take care.